Good evening and welcome to tonight's coverage of high school football action on North Penn Television. You are tuned into Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, or our YouTube Live. I'm Eric Jesberger alongside Brandy Marlin, and we are set here at Wissahickon High School's Turf Stadium preparing for 6A Round 1 playoff matchup between the visiting Ridley Green Raiders and the home North Penn Knights. Due to the downpours scheduled in our forecast tonight, this game got moved from North Penn's Crawford Stadium to here at Wissahickon's Turf Stadium. However, as it may be a different venue, the Knights football squad will be undoubtedly looking for the same results they have put up all regular season, and that's another game in the win column.
Yeah, and Eric, coming in tonight's game, the Knights are 10-0 and the Raiders are 6-4. They have had very different starts to their season. Like I said, North Penn has been undefeated. However, Ridley started their season 0-4, and since then they have had a 6-straight win streak. Both teams are coming into this game with different attitudes. And Eric, how did they get these attitudes?
Throughout the season, obviously, building an undefeated regular season, being 5-0 at home, 5-0 on the road. It's going to bring a little swagger and a little bit of spark coming in the playoffs, especially North Penn coming off of a 56-14 win over William Tennant last week to conclude their regular season. So that's going to bring the swagger, and as Ayub Tarati kicks it away, we'll see if North Penn's able to bring the thunder to the Ridley Green Raiders. As the Raiders receiving the kick, running down the sidelines, he's going to pick up plenty of yards on the return, getting out to the 35. That's where the Raiders will start. As both teams take the field, North Penn's defense on the left side of the screen wearing their navy blue and Columbia blue trim uniforms, and on the right side of the screen in their white jerseys and green helmets, the Ridley Green Raiders.
Yeah, we're going to have to see a lot for the defenses tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how the defenses stack up against one another. Especially
with the weather permitting, it's going to be a little slippery on this turf as it has been raining since warm-ups. Starting off the first drive is going to be a handoff to the running back. He's going to pick up a couple of yards. Dylan Staley, the junior, for the Green Raiders. He's been taking much of the carries throughout the season for Ridley, and he's going to be one of the main enforcers on the field tonight. And as we mentioned, looking to stay on his feet on perhaps his slippery turf.
The grass is going to be super slippery. It's been raining for a while now. We actually had some pretty heavy rain at one point. So one wrong footing and someone can fall and miss a catch or miss a block.
With one wide receiver on the far side of the screen, quarterback's just going to take it himself, and he's going to be immediately gobbled up by the defense. John Bakey, the senior for Ridley, immediately wrapped up and brought down. And as we take a look at the starting defense for North Penn, after coming off that phenomenal win last week, this defense has been strong, and much can be, picked up, and much of their drive comes from the juniors, Nate Brown and RJ McNamara. The underclassmen have provided a lot of pass pressure to their opposition and their quarterback, so we'll look to see plenty of that tonight in the matchup against John Bakey and his Raiders offense. With a flare pass rolling to his right, he's going to make a connection with a wide receiver and will be wrapped up. First down for the Raiders as they're able to convert. And as Bakey was forced out of the pocket and sent on the run, throwing on the run, he'll connect on the far side of the screen with Jake Labirio for a first down as the Raiders pass midfield.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the Raiders take this first down. They were at 2 downs, so it's interesting to see what plays they're going to call as they are on what looks like to be the 36-yard line.
With one man in the backfield, two wide receivers to your close side screen. Fumble, ball's loose, immediately stripped out of the running back's hands. Looked to be Dylan Staley on that initial run. However, he was immediately hit hard by Julian White. The North Penn senior playing both sides of the ball for the Knights. However, John Bakey, after immediately handing that off, he saw the ball right back on the ground. But doing his job, he's just going to cover it up and keep the ball in the possession for the Raiders, keeping this drive alive. Bakey set in the shotgun formation. Two receivers to your close side of the screen. He'll immediately hand off to number 28. It's Dylan Staley heading to your close side of the screen, and he'll be wrapped up by Eric Laughlin. However, a flag immediately on the field before that tackle was routed up. So we'll send it down to our white cap referee tonight, Joe Letizia, for the verdict. And it will be holding against the offense. The first penalty issued will be charged on the Raiders. So they'll be sent back across midfield and begin this next down at the 50-yard line right by the logo.
Yeah, and we'll have to watch out for those penalties tonight. I know earlier in the season there was one game where the North Penn Knights had 10 penalties, and that can have a tremendous impact on the team's game. So these teams really have to be careful tonight to not take those penalties.
Especially in playoffs, both teams have to stay disciplined, and something North Penn has been pretty well of so far. And as for Ridley, we'll look to see. And right on cue, little bit of miscommunication. The snap will go a bit too high. Bakey was unable to get two hands on it as it will fly over his head. However, he's able to recover the ball and keep this drive underway. However, as for Ridley, a little bit of sloppiness so far in the game will send them where they were at, the 45, all the way back to their own 30-yard line. So something Ridley is going to have to clean up.
Yeah, those mistakes just cannot happen in playoff games. This is a do-or-die opportunity for Ridley, and against going the number 1 seed, they just can't make these errors. They need to be at their top game.
2 men in the backfield behind Bakey. One wide receiver to your far side screen. He'll fake the handoff and get it to Jacopuso. However, he's immediately swarmed up by North Penn, and number 32, Eric Laughlin, will apply the tackle from behind. And they'll send the offense to the sidelines as Ridley will have to bring on their special teams unit to punt it away, where John Haynes for North Penn will receiving it downfield at about the 25. As it will be punter Miles Turner kicking it away for the Raiders. Low snap will be scooped up, and he'll get this away just before North Penn was able to get a hand on it. And it will take one bounce and head backwards before Ridley's able to scoop it up, as number 2, Elijah Jacopusa, setting the ball at the 32-yard line. And as we check out our offensive starters for North Penn tonight, we got Robinson leading for the quarterback in the huddle, Shamar Edwards in the backfield, and Brandy, what can you say about this backfield Shamar Edwards has applied for North Penn all season?
Well, it'll definitely be a backfield battle tonight between Shamar Edwards and Elijah Jacopuso, who both have extremely similar stats. They both have 11 touchdowns, and Edwards has 1,122 yards, where Jacopuso has 1,079. It'll be very important to see which team member can help their team the most. It could be a very deciding factor of who wins this game.
And if they're backfield taking control of that last and the first drive for North Penn, it was Shamar Edwards picking up a couple yards, just about 3 on the run to start off the drive. As for the quarterback, number 9, Solomon Robinson will be ready to take this from his snapper. He'll hand this off and find R.J. McNamara, but he'll be met at the line of scrimmage by Ridley, and he'll be wrapped up, picking up about a yard on the play. And a quick third down conversion is needed here for North Penn on this first drive, looking to avoid a 3-and-out here against the Ridley defense.
And it's good that you mentioned Robinson tonight, because comparing Bakey to Robinson is interesting, because Robinson has 867 yards, but Bakey has 442 yards so far this season. But another point of that is that Robinson has 8 interceptions, where Bakey has 4 interceptions, and we just saw a really big play from North Penn.
Yeah, the great thing about Robinson is when he feels the pressure in the pocket, he's able to work out of it. He stays cool, confident, and he's able to run and dance on his feet his way across, not only for a first down, but across the line of scrimmage, picking up the rushing yards, as he's put up plenty of touchdowns on the move, bursting through that line of scrimmage. Something defensive don't expect from such a player and such a quarterback. But Robinson always doing that job for this North Penn offense, and Coach Dick Beck on the sideline feeding him his plays and the playbook.
Yeah, Robinson has such great footwork, especially in that pocket and getting out of the pocket in those really tough situations. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Oh, and he misses the snap and he recovers it, but loses a lot of yards.
2 sloppy snaps will cost both teams yards. This time Robinson unable to handle this one right about at his chest level, as it will send them back to about the 41-yard line, losing 9 yards on that snap miscue.
And that's exactly what the Raiders did not even that long ago. These teams cannot do that. This is not the game to be doing that. They should not be doing that in any game. They need to pick up the game and discipline themselves.
So for Robinson, he'll have 2 men in the backfield behind him. Shamar Edwards will take the handoff. And trying to work out of the initial tackle, the Ridley Raiders bringing the blitz and applying it. Actually, correction, it was Kaleem Corbin taking the handoff, as he was unable to get past the line of scrimmage. So 3rd down and long for North Penn, as they'll need a first down conversion to keep this drive alive. And we'll look to see Solomon Robinson possibly put this ball in the air if they want to pick up this many yards. So we'll see what the senior has in store for us here on this next play. He'll be set up in the shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers to either side of him. He'll step back, coverage for him. He'll step up in the pocket, try and roll out, but Ridley all over and gobbling him up. And it's number 57 for the Raiders, Tamir Wilmore, the junior, getting to Robinson from behind and wrapping him up in the pocket. 4th down, and the Knights will be forced to punt.
Yeah, that was a good play by the Raiders, but that sloppy snap just really killed that North Penn drive, especially after that great first third down conversion. It just set them back and set their motivation back.
Yeah, unfortunately it forced them well back, far from the first down. And we'll see junior Evan Spann punt things away for North Penn, where number 25, Haston Chandler, will receive at the 30-yard line. It'll take 1 hop, 2 hops before Kaleem Corbin will get set around, and the ball still rolling, will land at the 21-yard line. Evan Spann putting Ridley well back deep in their own end of the field, and that's a great job by Evan Spann for his team.
Yeah, that kick was really crucial. If that would have been a short kick, that would have been really bad for the North Penn defense. The Raiders would have had a short field length to go, but now they're all the way back at that 21-yard line, and they'll have a long drive if they want to get a touchdown.
So for Ridley, they had 1 first down conversion on their first drive. And with their quarterback, Bakey, he'll take the snap and he'll continue to run. Now finally being gobbled up by North Penn at the line of scrimmage and sent back. He'll pick up about 3 yards on the run to start off this second drive for the Ridley offense.
And the rain's starting to come down a little harder. We can't forget about that rain, can we?
Picking up 5 yards on that last run. It will be John Bakey in addition to his running backs, Dylan Staley and Elijah Jacopuso, looking to pick up first downs and try and get to an end zone visit for the first time in this ball game. Staley will take the initial handoff and be wrapped up by North Penn's line of scrimmage. So we've seen both the run games pretty quiet early on both sides of the field. What can you say about what the play call is going to have to happen here late in this game, Brandy, and in addition, what the quarterbacks are going to be expected to do in these tough conditions on the field?
The quarterbacks and the offensive lineup is just going to have to really pick it up. The defenses are just shutting the other's offense down, and the offenses are really going to have to find a way to break out of it. And if North Penn really wants to shut down the Raiders, they're going to have to start doing that really soon and get ahead in this game.
Bakey will fake the run after handing off to Staley, who will once again be wrapped up.
Yeah, these defenses are just shutting everyone down at the line of scrimmage.
The first 3 and out force will be provided by the North Penn defense. And as Miles Turner will head back onto the field to punt it away once again for Ridley, it will be senior John Haynes downfield. And he'll take a couple steps back and then call for a fair catch. And then scoop things up. And however, wrapped up immediately just about at the 45-yard line. A late flag will fall onto the turf. And Ridley's student section and coaches are pretty pleased about that.
I'll have to see what this penalty is called as.
And unfortunately against North Penn, it will put the Knights farther back into their own territory as Solomon Robinson and the Knights offense get set to take the field. Robinson leading the huddle. Edwards will be on the sidelines.
They appear to be just behind the 35 line. So we'll have to see how far they can take this drive and how Robinson can bolster his offense.
Robinson in the shotgun with Julian White to his right. He'll step back, look downfield. He'll launch one deep for John Haynes and immediately tugs from the back of the jersey. 2 flags will fall into the field as that, if anything was more obvious, it was the fact he was getting held. As John Haynes trying to break free from the man covering him, he was just grabbed hard from the numbers on the back of his jersey, and an obvious pass interference will be called here as Robinson looked to connect with Haynes.
That was such a strong hold. You could see that jersey just get tugged back.
So as for the Knights, they will continue their push downfield. As for the Raiders, they now tally up their second penalty on the game, both coming from their defense. And as for the Knights, they're looking to try and take advantage as the officials will meet up to make sure they get this ball set right. We're going to take a look at how these teams got here. For North Penn, their road to this matchup here was Aiken and gathering the 1 seed. They had an offense led by their head coach, Dick Beck, who is in his 17th year coaching. However, we're going to check out on the field. Looks to be a mistake on the set of this next play where the ball is set at the line of scrimmage. And back to the action in the I formation. 1 wide receiver to your close side screen is senior John Haynes. Robinson will step back. He'll hand off immediately to Julian White, who will pick up about 6 yards on the carry. And we'll set up a 2nd and 4. And concluding how North Penn got here, they were led by head coach Dick Beck for the offense. And the Knights offense put up over 300 points in their 10-game regular season. However, as the saying goes, defense wins games. And for this North Penn defense, they have held opponents to 175 points on the dot. So with those numbers put up all season, it's pretty evident why they're 10-0. And they're looking to continue the winning games in the win column tonight against Ridley. With Sam Bear on the block. Shamar Edwards picking up another couple yards on the run to your far side of the screen. As John Haynes will come back onto the field in replace for Evan Spann. The Knights picking up 3 yards on that last run. And it will be 3rd and 1. We'll see what Coach Beck and Solomon Robinson have in store for us. Needing a conversion here on 3rd down.
You'll have to wonder, will they pass it or will they rush it? You'll assume they rush it, but Robinson always has some trick up his sleeve.
Robinson will hand off
to
Shamar Edwards, bursting up the middle. He'll go to the far side screen at the 20, breaking the tackle at the 10, and finding his way to the 5-yard line. Shamar Edwards will finally be controlled and forced out of bounds. Shamar Edwards, the senior for North Penn, picking up a huge carry for the Knights and putting them in the red zone with 5 to go till the first end zone visit on this ball game tonight.
Shamar Edwards is such a huge player for the offense. He has so many yards, and we talked about earlier how both him and Elijah Yakpuso are going to be key players tonight, and we just saw why Shamar Edwards is such a great player for the North Penn team.
The big name not only on his team but around school, Shamar Edwards with that huge carry, and we'll see if North Penn's able to find the end zone. However, with about 4 flags immediately being thrown onto the field after a twitch at the line, we'll send it down to get the verdict. And it'll be a false start against North Penn, their first penalty on the game. Both teams tallying up 3 total penalties tonight here just in our first quarter, as we are at 13 seconds and the clock continuing to run. They might just let this thing go out towards the second quarter, And as the offense will head to the sidelines, that will conclude our first quarter of action.
The score is still 0-0, and there hasn't been that many big plays so far. We just saw that running game from Shamar Edwards, but we haven't seen much from Ridley's offense yet today.
It's great to see, though, that already North Penn is looking to send the ball, not only on the run for the phenomenal plays that we saw, such as Shamar Edwards concluding that first quarter, but also putting the ball in the air. Solomon Robinson has put up fantastic numbers when throwing the ball deep downfield. So they're definitely testing out the Ridley secondary early on this first quarter. Unfortunately, Robinson wasn't able to connect with his fellow senior John Haynes on that pass attempt, just crossing midfield, but it was because of a flag, a pass interference. So we'll look to continue to see Coach Beck keep the trust in his quarterback and his offense sending the ball deep. But as we get ready to start off our second quarter,
you can see on your screen right now how hard the rain is really coming down. It's getting pretty heavy out there, and you have to wonder, will it affect the game or not?
So as we get ready to prepare our second quarter action here at Wissahickon High School, I'm Aaron Jetsberg alongside Brandy Marlin in the booth. And Robinson will be set out with two backs behind him in the backfield. Robinson will hand off to Julian White, charging through the line of scrimmage. He'll be brought down at about the 10-yard line. So as we get set for this second attempt on this drive, the Knights still in the red zone. And from the 10, they'll look to convert here on second down. And Brandy, what are you expecting? I mean, as the rain continues to fall, you want to avoid having to Robinson throw too much, but in this kind of situation, the running game might not be working as it has all first quarter.
No.
However, here's Julian White. He'll look to answer back with that, going towards the pylon. Did he stay in bounds? And it looked like Ridley was able to force him out just before White was able to extend his arms across the goal line. So Ridley will spare another opportunity to stop this Knights offense from finding the end zone and putting up 6 early on in tonight's game. 3rd and goal for North Penn. The Knights wearing their navy blue and Columbia helmets. Ridley on the left side of the screen defending their goal line in their white jerseys and green helmets. The block for Sam Bear. It will be handoff to the right side. Julian White immediately hit from the legs, and Ridley will stop the Knights short of the goal line. And as we've seen plenty throughout the season, Coach Beck is not shy of putting the Knights in crunch time situations, such as 1st and 1, 4th down and short, and right here they're at the goal line, and Coach Beck has his offense making sure they come out of this drive putting up a touchdown on the board.
Yeah, the rushing game right now has to be perfect. They have to get across that touchdown line.
With the I formation, Edwards in the far back. Robinson will hand off to Edwards. Charging to his right. He'll be grabbed from behind. Lunging across the goal line. Did he get in? No, sir, he did not. Ridley will stop the Knights on 4th down and inches at the goal line. Turnover on downs. Ridley will take over the ball deep in their end zone. And it was Shamar Edwards falling just short as he reached for that goal line, just coming up short. And Ridley's line of scrimmage putting up a big stop and grasping the momentum here early on in this ball game.
Yeah, Ridley's defense has been so strong tonight. It looked like North Penn had some motivation on that run. They were looking like they were hungry, but they just got shut down right away.
As for John Bakey, he's going to have to work out of his own end zone, and he'll get a pass on the run, connecting with his wide receiver and staying on his feet is number 2, Elijah Jacopuso from the backfield. He'll make his first reception, and a late flag on the field along North Penn's sidelines. It looked like Evan Spann and Jacopuso got tied up after that hit was applied by Evan Spann. As we'll send it downfield to get the call from our official, John Letizia, tonight. And it'll be unsportsmanlike against the offense, so Ridley shooting themselves in the foot after a phenomenal pass from John Bakey from his own end zone connecting with Jacopuso. However, Ridley will get sent right back where they started, deep in their end zone.
Yeah, and that'll be the 4th penalty of tonight. These teams have to stay disciplined. In the rain, it can be hard, but they have trained so hard since probably August for this moment right here. Both teams are hungry to get into the next round, but we're just not seeing anything happen tonight because of the penalties, maybe because of the rain, but they're just not coming through.
First down and 10 for the Raiders. John Bakey in the back, he'll hand it off to Staley, and North Penn will immediately meet him at the line of scrimmage. Junior Nate Brown and senior Julian White, as the linebackers, will apply the tackle and send Staley right back into the turf. As no gain on the carry, it will be 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Still deep from their own 10 as we reach about 9 minutes and 20 seconds left here in our first half of action. For the Raiders, it will be 1 wide receiver to your far side of the screen, 2 in the backfield. However, Bakey will keep it himself, and it will emerge from the line of scrimmage. Ball comes loose as he hit the ground, and we'll see if North Penn's able to come up with the ball, and if it was indeed a fumble. North Penn's ball, it's a fumble. Ball is loose, and the Knights secure at the 20-yard line. They will begin this drive looking to put up and have a shot at redemption here in our second quarter of action tonight at Wissahickon High School.
This is a huge chance for the North Penn offense. That last drive just fell short for them at 4th down and inches. And now they're again at the 27-yard line, and we'll see what Solomon Robinson has in store for us for this drive.
It looked to be Shamar Edwards emerging from the bottom of that dog pile for the ball and coming up with it, at least applying the hit. So back for the offense, Robinson will hand off to Edwards, and a quick stutter step will beat the initial blitz. However, he'll pick up a couple yards just trying to beat through that line of scrimmage, as Ridley was sniffing out that rushing opportunity by Edwards and the Knights offense. And as we continue to see the running games be met with a lot of great defense throughout this game tonight, we'll look to see if the quarterbacks, John Bakey for Ridley and Solomon Ramos for North Penn, get more opportunities to throw the ball in the air. And with 2 wide receivers to your close side of the screen, it's Evan Spann and John Haynes. In the backfield, it's Shamar Edwards. Robinson will fake the handoff. He'll throw, connecting with Spann, but immediately hit from behind as he went up for the ball. As phenomenal coverage by number 28, Dylan Staley, applying the hit to Kaleem Corbin, who was on the attempt to receive that ball from behind. He'll be wrapped up, and the ball falling incomplete.
The
It'll be
Knights
3rd
are now
and 8.
3rd and 8, yep. So we'll have to see what Coach Dick Beck has in store, because they do not want to lose the momentum on this drive, as that would just be so hard on their offense so early in the game still.
In the shotgun formation, R.J. McNamara to his left. 2 wide receivers either side, and stoppage play whistles will buzz out on the field and flags will fall. And before the snap, it was a timeout for the Raiders, as they'll take a look at their playbook and look to see what they have to stop a big part in tonight's game, which could prove titanic to either side of these teams tonight.
Yeah, if
with
the Raiders
8:16 left.
If the Raiders stop this North Penn drive, it is just going to be another boost to their momentum, which personally I think the Raiders have the momentum right now. And if North Penn can push through, they can take a hold of this game and hopefully get a touchdown, as the score is still 0-0 with 16 seconds left in the second quarter.
Obviously, the fumble was a stab in the gut to the Ridley offense, however, and then North Penn coming up with the ball. However, a stop here will boost this defense and show Ridley's offense that, hey, we got your back here. You make a mistake, we'll pick you up. Just go out there and put up points for us. We'll defend this turf here tonight, and we'll make sure to bring it to the Knights offense. So with Ridley, they are looking to make that happen here and grasp the momentum here as we are 8 minutes away from wrapping up our first half. Robinson in the shotgun. He'll step back and look to his left. He'll throw high over Shamar Edwards, the intended target. And it looked to be Edwards wasn't even turned around before that ball was thrown.
Yeah, that was just
miscommunication.
That was just a little sloppy, a little bit of miscommunication, and that is not what the Knights need right now. They are with 4 down and 8 yards to go. They need to get that conversion.
As Robinson will get his play from Dick Beck on the sidelines, he'll head back to the huddle, looking to lead the Knights not only into the end zone, but just for a first down conversion here on 4th and 8. 1 receiver to your far side of the screen, 2 to your close side. Robinson will fake the handoff and keep it himself. He'll rush up the middle, but from behind he'll be met and wrapped up to the turf. Number 57 on the tackle, Tamir Wilmore, once again in back-to-back drives for North Penn, sending their offense to the sidelines. It's Tamir Wilmore with back-to-back sacks, wrapping up Solomon Robinson and capping off North Penn offensive drives.
Yeah, North Penn had got that fumble around the 26-27 yard line, and they didn't even break the 20-yard line, and that's just a huge blow to their offense. And now their defense is going to have to pick it up for them and prevent the Raiders from creating a touchdown.
So as Ridley will take the field, their offense, led by Bakey, Staley will be hit hard, and a late hit in the backfield will be immediately flagged. As well behind the play, Eric Rowe got sent hard to the ground by number 77, Thomas Branwell. A very undisciplined penalty, personal foul against Branwell will put the Knights farther back in, will put the Raiders farther back into their offensive side of the field.
And that was just another hit to the Raiders' offense. They had the sloppy snap, and then they had the fumble, and now they are taking a very unnecessary penalty that is setting them farther back into their zone. And they have a very long way to go to get to the red zone.
4 penalties tally up so far here for the Raiders in our matchup, and we're only in our second quarter of play tonight. So with 2nd and 15, Raiders looking to pick up some yards as John Bakey will hand off to Jacopuso, rushing onto the close side screen. Corbin and look to be Eric Laughlin will meet him at the 21-yard line, wrapping him up and sending him to the ground as they will pick up a gain of 9. The Raiders getting closer as it will be 3rd down and 6 for the Raiders, looking to convert here with 7:13 left in our second quarter.
If the North Penn defense shuts them down right here, it would go back to the North Penn offense, it feels like they're playing ping pong between the 20 and 40-yard line right now, as no team has really gotten farther past either of those points.
John Bakey in the shotgun with Jacopuso behind him. Staley will roll back and immediately go to his left. On the run will throw, almost picked off by Nate Brown. However, able to muff the ball is all he needed to do on that job, as he'll send the Ridley special teams and punt unit onto the field to kick it away to the Knights' John Haynes.
Yeah, and we'll see what this kick has in store. If it's a short kick, the North Penn offense won't have that long to go. So we'll have to see how their kicker, Nathan Warwick, will do with this kick.
Also, that last, the pass pressure immediately reaching Bakey before he was able to get a clear view of who he wanted to throw to was all they needed. A flag will come out in the backfield as Haynes will roll to the far side screen, and we will be wrapped up in the Ridley bench at the 50-yard line. But with 2 flags fallen at the 44-yard line, we'll send it downfield to get the verdict from our officials tonight.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
And the Knights will pick up their 2nd penalty totaled here in tonight's matchup so far. A little better compared to Ridley, who has total of 4. However, any penalty is something you want to avoid, especially in crunch time in postseason. It might just be round one, but for this game so far, we're seeing back and forth, and I love how you mentioned ping pong between the yard lines, as both teams have been unable to reach that end zone and have been able to just stay about midfield. For the Knights, so they're looking to cross that as Shamar Edwards will pick up the handoff from Robinson, and he'll be tripped up and fall with about 5 yards on the carry. It's Shamar Edwards once again for North Penn.
Yeah, we've heard a lot from Shamar Edwards and Elijah Yapusho, so we'll have to see who can motivate their team enough to put the first score up on the scoreboard tonight.
It was definitely a great scattering report by Brandy, as she has pictured much of the impact these offenses will go to, and the impact players have been so far Shamar Edwards and Yacapuso on the other side for Ridley. So with a timeout called by North Penn, Coach Beck will head into his team's huddle, as with 6 minutes left here in our first half of play. Brandy, what can you say about the overall defensive dominance we've seen so far from tonight, and maybe if it's perhaps a little bit of the weather impacting it as well?
I think the defense on both teams has just been absolutely phenomenal. There was almost a pick on one of that last plays, which
Dave Brown almost was able to pick that one off. However, he just off the fingertips. But overall, he sent Ridley's punt unit right out to the field, just doing his job and stopping that offensive opportunity.
Yeah, and that was a big play. And then there was also a fumble that North Penn picked up, and that helped them a lot. Even though they weren't able to return that for a touchdown, they still got a little bit of momentum, and both defenses are just doing a great job tonight, and the offenses really need to pick it up. And it looks like it's going to be the offense that wins the game tonight, because the defenses are just so strong. We're going to have to see which offense comes out on top.
So back to the action. Robinson will hand it off to Shamar Edwards in the backfield, and pushing to your far side of the screen. He'll be wrapped up with about 4 yards on the carry, as Shamar Edwards with back-to-back carries for his Knights offense. It will be 3rd and 5 for North Penn after the 1-yard carry by Edwards.
North Penn's really looking for a 3rd down conversion right now. What do you think's going through Robinson's head right now, Eric?
I believe, with the 3rd and 5, he'll be looking for possibly a play action, or in this case, he'll be set up in the shotgun formation. So, we've obviously seen Coach Beck have trust in his quarterback and his team. So Robinson will step back. He'll get this pass opportunity. He'll throw downfield. It's Shamar Edwards breaking free, and he'll be all alone. Shamar Edwards will jog into the end zone, and the Knights picking up the first points on tonight's ball game. It's a touchdown. Robinson to Edwards, and the Knights lead 6-0, and hopefully putting up 7 as Ayub Charati will head onto the field looking to put up the extra point.
Yeah, that is exactly what North Penn needed right now. Their offense came out. That was a huge pass, and it resulted into points being put onto the scoreboard for the first time tonight. We see the field goal special teams unit go out right now, and we will see what they can do. If they can pick up that extra point, that's just going to be an extra bonus to North Penn right now.
It was just a burst of speed from Edwards straight from the line of scrimmage, as he was cleared right about at the 35-yard line. Was when that ball was put up into the air, where Edwards made the connection. And Charati's kick is straight up through the uprights, giving the Knights a 7-0 lead. The senior Charati will do his job as the Knights take a 7-0 lead with 5 minutes left here in our first half of play. But Robinson getting that trust and getting that faith, as we were mentioning just before the snap was put into Robinson's hands. He got the coverage around him and sent it to Edwards, who was the man alone jogging into the end zone. Shamar Edwards, the senior for North Penn, will lead tonight's into the lead, putting up the first points on tonight's ball game at Wissahickon High School. The Knights lead 7-0.
And we have seen a lot of those long passes from Robinson this season. A couple games ago, there was one to John Haynes that was like 70 or 80 yards. And these touchdowns are what bolsters North Penn to just keep fighting and keep running and get more touchdowns and more points. And it just impacts the team so much, those long, hard plays where there's a breakthrough.
And as Charati gets set to kick it away for North Penn. Once again, I'm Eric Jesberg alongside Brandy Marlin up in the booth here at Wissahickon High School. where our setting got changed from Crawford Stadium due to the downpours and the rain. We moved to the turf stadium here at Wissahickon High School. So as the Raiders will get the kick, he'll start running downfield and he'll break free. On the hunt is Shamar Edwards. Christian Kaleem Corbin, he'll try to apply the hit, but will fall up short. The kick return for the Raiders, and it's a touchdown. What an answer back, as the Raiders will look to tie things up on the kick return from number 2. Who else but Elijah Jacopuso?
We've been talking about them all game. These are the players that are going to impact the game one way or another. It is going to be on them and key other players who are going to win the game tonight. It is coming down to very small minor details such as penalties and making sure these return kicks get tackled. This is something that the team should not happen. And it looks like the kick is good, so it'll be tied 7-7 at 4:53 left in the second quarter.
And that theme of ping-pong action continues, as not only do the defenses dominate in that first quarter, most of the second quarter, but right here you'll see Jacopuso break free as Kaleem Corbin unable to catch up with him just before Jacopuso lunged across the pylon and the goal line. That ping-pong action, both teams back-to-back touchdowns put up on the board in just about 10 seconds.
Yeah, you got to be wondering what's going through the coaches and players' minds right now. There is such back and forth action of teams going on in the field, off the field. What is going on right now through everybody's head on both the North Penn and the Raiders side right now, Eric?
I mean, for the fans, they're obviously going to be loud, and you know, the student section for Ridley has definitely been on their feet most of the game, but they're just getting louder as the grasping momentum obviously has shifted back to being neutral now the teams are back tied up after North Penn was able to put up that first touchdown. But as we get set for a kick away from Ridley's Nathan Warwick, we'll see what John Haynes has in store for us downfield along with Kaleem Corbin for the Knights, and see if they're able to send something right back at Ridley.
Yeah, this ping pong action just might continue, and we'll see how far these receivers can get.
Warwick will send a small flutter into the hands of Eric Laughlin. He'll carry it and then be wrapped up by a sea of white jerseys meeting him just about at the sidelines, as Laughlin will be wrapped up at the 35-yard line. That's where the Knights offense will head back onto the field after the connection between Robinson and Edwards put the Knights up on a touchdown with 5:06 here in that second quarter.
And right now you can hear the rain coming down on all the umbrellas in the turf field, and you can just see the turf field getting slippery, more slippy by the minute.
That's what it is. It's 67 degrees and continuous rain coming in the forecast tonight. It hasn't stopped since. However, the postseason matchup is still continuing to heat up as RJ McNamara will take the carry but be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by Ridley's defensive line. So for the offenses, we've seen the running game be somewhat quiet throughout tonight, except for that Shamar Edwards run early on, wrapping up that first quarter, putting the Knights in the red zone. However, similar theme, the Knights were unable to convert in the red zone.
Yeah, these conversions are becoming really important to the game tonight. Each team has missed a few conversions. Knights a little more than the Raiders. And we see Robinson drop back far into the pocket, and now he's just going to run forward.
Robinson doing his job, feeling the pressure in the pocket. He's going to tuck in and run to the far side of the screen. But he's going to take a heavy hit applied by Ridley's defense. And you heard the crowd on the far side of the screen react to that hit as Robinson was brought down hard to the turf. He's getting up immediately, though, as he's continuing to stay confident, and he'll do his job, picking up what yards he could.
It is good to see Robinson getting back up, because about maybe 2 weeks ago, Eric, we saw Robinson in crutches in school one day. It was just one day, but it all got us very worried about how he is. And he drops the ball and runs upfield, but he is going to pick up a first down, and the tackle is made by 3 different white jerseys, and a flag is thrown onto the field.
Flag falling onto the field after Robinson was just unable to handle that snap. It was a little at the knee level, a little low for him. and it slipped out of his hands, hitting the turf. But he did his job. He took it and ran it to close side of the screen and picking up the first down. And a personal foul against Ridley will give the Knights even more. The 5th penalty tallied up for the Raiders here in tonight's action. And as for Robinson, continuing to demonstrate what we've been talking about all night, where he just does his job out of the pocket, moving on the feet, moving on the run, showing off a little bit of dancing moves out of the pocket, and he'll pick up a first down for the Knights on a huge conversion for North Penn.
Yeah, the Knights are up to what looks to be the
It's 39, yeah, 39-yard line.
And we'll have to see what North Penn has in store for us as they are edging closer to the red zone.
No roll out to his right. Robinson will look long. He'll send this into the air, looking, and it will be almost picked off by Ridley's corner. Looked like strong safety downfield.
And Robinson took another really hard hit there. And he just popped right back up, and he is ready to go for another play as they are 2 in second down, 10 yards to go. We'll see, will they rush or will they pass?
And a risky ball thrown there by Robinson, who straight into double coverage, stepping back. He didn't feel the pressure until after the ball was thrown, taking that heavy hit. However, he was looking for Evan Spann, the intended target, at about the 15-yard line on the far side of the screen. So, unfortunately, unable to come up with that. It will be 2nd down and 10. Robinson in the shotgun with 2 wide receivers to close side of the screen. He'll hand off to Shamar Edwards, and carrying to about the 30-yard line. That's where Edwards will be spotted. Getting closer to that first down. The Knights in excellent field position here at the 30-yard line, and inching closer to the goal line, looking to take the lead back here with about 2 minutes and 54 seconds left in our first half.
3rd down and 2 yards to go. So they really need this conversion. These conversions are so important. We have seen it over and over again tonight where the conversions just aren't happening. And right now, North Penn needs it desperately in order to get back into the scoring mode after they scored. And then Ridley just came right back and scored again.
Edwards will take the handoff from Robinson, and he'll get across the first down with plenty of extra yards picked up after that. And before the snap, Amir Pickens subbed in for Evan Spann, so possibly applying the extra coverage was Amir Pickens, the senior, as he continues to do his job for this night's offense. As the seniors, the core of seniors, have continued to highlight this offense and have aided them to that 10-0 regular season statute in the record. As we continue to hear our student section show their support and continue to flood into the stadium, to these sidelines, we will have a timeout called by head coach Dick Beck for North Penn. This is a second timeout.
This is a critical moment for North Penn with 1:47 left in the second quarter before we go to halftime. What do you think Dick Beck has in store for us today, Eric?
Well, with the second timeout call in this first half, they're obviously looking to try and punch in. They're always trying to punch in touchdowns, but they are seeing this one as even being more crucial. They're going to use up a timeout, with still time left in this first half of action. And as for Coach Beck, he's just going to continue to tell his guys, to stay, try and just keep your hands warm where it's some of the plays, such as that possible Nate Brett interception off the fingertips, maybe a little slippery, was unable to come up with that ball. That would have been a shot in the foot to Ridley throwing an interception, which would have put the Knights in excellent field position. But for the defense, well, for both sides, the defenses have been, providing plenty of dominance so far. Just giving up, that touchdown thrown by, Robinson, a little beat in the secondary, and also the kick return by North Penn. The special teams was unable to answer to Jacopuso along the sidelines. So for the Knights, they're looking to try and get this lead back before they head to the locker room.
A flag is thrown.
Julian White taking the handoff, he'll be wrapped up from behind, as Becker will make the stop for Ridley. However, a flag on the field will send it down to the field to get the verdict.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
Will be holding on the offense as North Penn picking up their 3rd penalty on the matchup tonight.
That is 8 penalties total as we are tallying them up tonight up here in the booth. These penalties have taken away so many yards from both teams and have given yards to the other team, and it is becoming even worse.
And with another stoppage of play, it looks like Ridley will call their own timeout. They'll call their second timeout, leaving one for both teams here with a minute 27 left in our first half of action, as the Knights have the ball and are looking to find one more end zone visit and take the lead before both teams will head to the locker room. And as the rain continues to fall here at Wissahickon Turf Stadium, it's definitely had an impact on this game tonight, as you know, the discipline in these teams has been a little sloppy so far, as not only have there been snaps above the quarterbacks, a fumble, almost another interception.
Two almost
there
interceptions.
There have been 8 penalties. Very uncharacteristic. Very uncharacteristic of any kind of postseason game, especially for a 1 versus 16 seed.
Yeah. A lot of people had different mindsets coming into this game, and some fans might be thinking, oh, this will be an easy game for North Penn, or oh, this will be a hard game for Ridley, but it is not that simple. Both teams are coming out tonight and playing, especially Ridley with a score of 7-7.
Robinson will step back and be laid out after getting that ball loose by number 33, Nicholas Becker, the sophomore, having a clear line of sight, a tunnel straight through the line of scrimmage, as he was untouched and he never broke stride, beating Robinson after getting that snap.
Robinson has to be careful. Throwing that ball away is smart if you're being pressured, especially in that one play where he threw to double coverage, but you have to be careful of those interceptions. He has 8 total for the season.
Back to the action. Robinson with 3 wide receivers to your right side of the screen. He'll look for it. However, he'll then tuck it and run. Looking for the first down. Robinson along the sidelines, hit from the bottom and just about the knee area. He'll be wrapped up at the 21-yard line. Robinson looked downfield, saw the coverage, and did his job on the move once again, as he'll pick up about 15 yards on that last carry for Robinson.
Robinson has been phenomenal tonight. Him and Shamar Edwards have just been shining on the Knights defense. We haven't heard much from anyone else. A little bit from Julian White, but the rest of the team has to pick it up. The game cannot depend on just 1 or 2 players. And there is a stoppage of play, and it looks like a timeout.
Another timeout, as head coach Dick Beck for North Penn will call his last timeout.
And it is now 43 seconds, and we have not gotten even a minute past that first timeout called, and maybe only 2 plays. We will have to see what Dick Beck has in store, and just what will the Knights do. They need to get some points up on the board here. They are on their 3rd down with 6 yards to go. What do you think they'll do, Eric?
Well, they'll definitely look to try and do what they can before this end of the half. And, you know, unfortunately, with this rain continuing to fall and with the time running out, they may need to throw the ball. I mean, we all have faith in Solomon Robinson, but with these conditions, the ball might be slippery. And it's just something we got to take into precaution, as the last thing you want to do is give the ball up to Ridley on a turnover and interception and have Ridley run the other way, just like they did on that kick return earlier in this second quarter. But as Coach Dick Beck, drenched from the rain, heads back to the sidelines, it's the North Penn Knights offense led by Robinson as the quarterback, looking to answer here. 3rd down and 6. He'll step back, weigh his options. He'll throw towards the end zone. It's Evan Spann along the sidelines. 2 steps inbounds. Evan Spann, the junior, puts the Knights up with a touchdown with 27 seconds left here in our first half.
That is
of the
exactly
ball
what
game.
North Penn needed yet again. And no, we need to see their defense pick up that momentum and shut the Raiders down after this extra point kick. And that was just a spectacular throw. Whoever was covering looks like they got tripped up a little bit, maybe from the turf grass being slippery, or maybe just some bad footing, but it resulted in a touchdown.
Robinson connecting with Evan Spann.
And we're watching for the
And for
kick.
Ucherati, it'll be a fake. Nate Brown will take it himself. He'll look to the end zone, and Brown fumbles the ball. However, he'll be able to rally up the Ridley It was number 57 for the Raiders, Tymere Wilmore, who has 2 sacks already on tonight, picking up that fumble recovery. And luckily, Nate Brown was able to, rally him up from the legs before he was able to get loose, because it was daylight downfield if Nate Brown wasn't able to make that tackle. And as we take a look at it again, Robinson was just looking to the end zone after the fake extra point attempt.
And now we see
an injured player along the sidelines. That's his number 35 for Ridley.
Jalen Hudson.
So hoping he's all right. But as for Ridley, they'll have one more shot at putting up points here in this second quarter action. 37.5 seconds on the board, as the Knights will look to defend a 13-7 lead here before heading to halftime.
If the Knights defense stop these Raiders, what do you think that'll mean going into halftime, Eric?
Well, obviously, we've seen much of the momentum build, especially late in the second quarter, where the offenses have picked up, especially with the phenomenal passing plays.
And it looks like it's caught around the 27-yard line, and he is stopped at the 40-yard line.
Wrapped up on the kick return.
Score is currently 13-7 Knights, 33.8 seconds left. The Raiders are trying to answer back the
And
Knights.
Jack Liberia with that kick return. He'll be wrapped up and set up his Raiders at the 40-yard line. So as for the boys in white and green, the Ridley Raiders are looking to find an end zone visit with 30 seconds left here in our first half of action at Wissahickon High School here in 6A Round 1 playoff action.
And it's a handoff to 25.
And running along the sidelines, beating Kaleem Corbin. He'll pick up a couple extra yards at about midfield. Number 25, Hassan Chandler, the senior running back, will pick up a gain of 8. It will be 2nd and 2 for the Raiders. And you see he's looking far to his left, on the far side of the screen, and then cuts back to the lower side. However, doing what he can against this strong North Penn defensive line. And as the clock will run out, without a timeout being called by Ridley, both teams will conclude our first half of action and head to the locker room as we wrap up our first half of 6A Round 1 playoff action between the Ridley Green Raiders and the North Penn Knights. The North Penn hosting the Raiders here at Wissahickon High School. Stay tuned for our second half coverage as the Knights defeat the Raiders here in our first half of action. They lead 13-7, and stay tuned for more action here in our second half.
The North Penn School District is now using Safe Arrival, an easy-to-use attendance reporting system. Now there are 3 ways you can report your child's absence. The first way is through your smartphone or mobile device with the School Messenger app. Just go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and download the app. Just create an account with an email we have on file for you. Select attendance, and then report your child's absence. The second way is to use the Safe Arrival website, go.schoolmessenger.com. Sign up for an account, select attendance, and then report your child's absence. The third way is to call the toll-free number at 888-239-8495 and follow the prompts using the automated phone system. Now, parents and guardians are able to report absences 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's never been easier. For more information, visit npenn.org. Since 1988, the North Penn Educational Foundation has been providing North Penn teachers and staff grants to enhance the classroom experience.
We really feel strong about what our mission is, and that's to inspire and motivate students.
The foundation is here to support the 120 students who need internet access at home with the funding of Kajit.
We see so many innovative and creative teachers looking for ways to ignite a spark in the minds of our young students.
The foundation is here to support the student developing the next nanofiber that will change manufacturing.
The foundation steps in to help us out, to give these students vision and reality to their vision, to bring it to fruition.
The foundation is here to support an experience that opens up a whole new world.
Our students need to become bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural, and the foundation has provided us with hands-on cultural experiences.
Without the foundation, we just would not be able to give our students these experiences.
The foundation is here for me.
For me.
For me.
For me. For me.
To learn more about how you can support the North Penn Educational Foundation, log on to npenn.org/foundation.
All right, and welcome to the second half of the North Penn Knights versus the Ridley Green Raiders. It is currently 13-7, and we are about to start the second quarter. We are going to be looking for some tough defense from both teams today. They have been super strong both during the first and second quarters, and it shut down the offenses of both teams during the first quarter. We saw some scoring in the second quarter. All right, we're going to take a look at some of the replays from the past. So we are looking at a fumble where North Penn received the ball back. And then here's the throw to Shamar Edwards that got the touchdown that started the first scoring. And then we now see the good kick. And I welcome back Eric Jesberger, my other commentator.
And we see Ridley putting up their first points on the board, responding back to the Knights offense as Jacopuso rushed down the sidelines, along the sidelines, beating Kaleem Corbin to the pylon and crossing the goal line, putting up Ridley, tying the game at 7-7. And then following that, North Penn was able to respond as Robinson with a phenomenal pass connecting with Evan Spann in the back right corner of the end zone, putting the Knights up now 13-7. However, after a fake extra point opportunity was unable to be converted for the Knights, we sit here at 13-7. The Knights leading as we get set to kick off our second half action of 6A round 1 playoff action between the visiting Ridley Green Raiders and home North Penn Knights. I'm Eric Jesberger alongside Brandy Marlin. And as for a phenomenal set of defense in our first half of action, we also got to catch up with the coaches before the game as well as throughout the week. And, the coaches continue to mention, along with, David Franick and Coach Beck, that the defense has been putting in plenty of work. And, for the seniors, they're just looking to do their jobs and keep their senior year football season going, as obviously they want to come out on top and know that their senior year was the year North Penn pulled out a state championship, in addition to having that undefeated regular season. So briefing in a little bit on that, North Penn coming into this round 1 matchup, how they got here with an offense led by their head coach, Dick Beck, who is in his 17th year coaching the Knights football squad. The Knights have put up over 300 points in their 10-game regular season where they reigned undefeated. However, as the saying goes, the defense wins games, and they have held opponents to a total of 175 points. Outstanding numbers put up by the Knights defense. And as for Ridley, they got here after starting off their season 0-4, a losing record, 0-4 starting their season. And the Raiders then after that put up 6 straight Friday night wins to cap off their 6-4 record on the season and pick up the last spot in the seeding for playoffs as the 16th seed. So as we get set to begin second half action here at Wissahickon High School, due to the forecast and the rain, Crawford Stadium was deemed unplayable, and Wissahickon High School Turf Stadium is our setting for our 6A playoff matchup between the Raiders and Knights. As we start off, the Knights will receive the kick. And it'll be R.J. McNamara fighting for a couple yards and doing what he can after receiving the kick at about the 25-yard line. He'll be wrapped up at the 30, where Solomon Robinson and the Knights offense will look to lead the North Penn team into the end zone and try and pick up their third touchdown on the night after picking up 2, capping off that first half of action.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what Solomon Robinson is gonna do with his offense right now. They're only leading by 6 points, so we'll have to see what they are planning to do in order to maybe enhance their lead.
And the defensive proved very strong. They were evident throughout much of the first quarter, and about halfway through the second, however, that's when the scoring began. So we'll look to see possibly a different shift in gears, maybe a different story, whether both teams are able to continue the offense that they built off of towards the end of the first half, or is it going to start similar to the first half where both teams' offenses will remain quiet for much of the action. So after R.J. McNamara takes the snap and picking up a couple yards, will put them about 2nd and 8. Robinson with his backfield set up in the I formation. He'll step back and give a handoff to Shamar Edwards. He'll twist around, staying on his feet, pushing towards the 50-yard line and crossing midfield. Edwards will finally be brought down. The senior Shamar Edwards coming into tonight as the captain at 5'11" and a total 190. Shamar Edwards continues his great work throughout the season as Shamar Edwards totals over 1,000 yards with 11 total touchdowns on the year on 143 total attempts. So he's carrying much of the load for the Knights backfield, and he'll look to continue that groove here tonight against Ridley. Handing off to R.J. McNamara. He'll pick up a couple yards. His first carries of the night will come here in this second half, kicking off the action as we pass our 11-minute mark here in the third quarter. The Knights still leading by 6, and we'll look to see if they're able to redeem themselves after the fake extra point attempt proved unsuccessful.
Yeah, I wonder what Coach Dick Beck said to that team, because they look quite rallied right now.
Shamar Edwards will take the handoff, and the rushing game will continue for North Penn. And Edwards will be given forward progress and reach just about the 42-yard line. It will be 3rd and about 2 as the Knights will look to convert here in their first drive of this second half.
They really need this conversion, and we've been talking about conversions a lot tonight. In the first quarter, we saw a lot of missed opportunities when a third down conversion just didn't take place. And right now, we can see what the offense can do if they make this 2-yard conversion.
Robinson will hand off to Julian White, pushing hard to the right. He'll plow through his own offensive lineman and pick up the first down. Julian White pushing not only the opposition, but when his teammates are in his way, he's making sure they clear the path. And he does his job picking up the first down. The homecoming king of North Penn here in 2018 picks up the first down for North Penn, continuing this drive as we pass our 9-minute and 30-second mark here on this third quarter of action at Wissahickon High School in the I formation. Robinson will hand off to White, and he'll plow through the line of scrimmage, but be hit hard and met at the line by number 22, Jack Liberio. The defensive back applying the hit and meeting White, giving about no gain.
The Ridley
White
offense has been super strong so far this game. They've only allowed 13 points so far this game, and there's been a lot of opportunities for North Penn. So we'll see if they manage to stay strong throughout the rest of today's game.
It's also important to note that the sloppiness throughout the first half is something both teams are looking to avoid here in our third quarter and rest of the game, as Shamar Edwards will continue his offensive rushing as he continues to tow up the yards and pick up about 9 on that carry. It will be 3rd and 1 for North Penn, but continuing that kind of discipline that both teams are looking to clean up in this second half. A total of 8 penalties charged on both teams combined. Ridley with a total of 5 and North Penn with a total of 3 penalties, giving plenty of yards to the opposition is something the teams are wanting to avoid. And in addition, Ridley has picked up the only sacks of tonight's game, both picked up by Tamir Wilmore. But as for the Knights, their rushing game continues, as it seems to be the game plan for Dick Beck and this Knights offense was keeping the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and it looks like we saw a type of Philly special type play, and as Salmon was tossed the ball, and he ran pretty far up the left side of your screen.
Robinson doing his job
Holding,
on the
offense,
speed.
10 yards from the spot of the foul, 3rd down, 81.
However, looked like we missed that flag on the field, as he'll be called a penalty against North Penn, sending them back to the 40-yard line, continuing the sloppiness. And that's something both teams, if they want to continue into the postseason, we're just here in round 1, and we're already at 9 penalties. So something they have to clean up, no doubt.
Yeah.
As Coach Beck seems pretty livid on the sidelines, trying to make sure his team cleans up, especially after the phenomenal plays here in the game, picking up plenty of yards. And right here, Robinson will be hit hard above towards the chest as number 44 for the Raiders, Miles Turner, lays out Robinson onto the turf, and the punting unit will come on for North Penn. And my goodness, that hit was heard from all the way up here in the booth.
Yeah, that was an extremely hard hit, and you just got to wonder, Robinson has taken a lot of hard hits so far this game. A lot of people have snuck through that line and have hit Robinson, and you got to wonder, will that even affect his playing? He's a very, very good player, but will it do anything to affect him?
Span will get this punt away into the night sky here at Wissahickon High School. And Kaleem Corbin, applying the pressure, will force this ball onto the turf and roll to about the 5-yard line. Will Nate Brown will scoop it up. And deep in their own end of the field, the Ridley Raiders offense will take the field, led by quarterback John Bakey.
And we're going to take a look at the sack that happened on Robinson that we were talking about, and you see
just applying the pressure initially, force Robinson up into the pocket, and that's where they were able to get a clean view, and number 44, Miles Turner, applied the hit. But back to the action, the Raiders offense on the field, and with forward progress giving them about 2 yards, it's Dylan Staley on the carry for the Raiders. And something different we've seen when looking at the stats from overall the regular season, where it seemed to be Elijah Jacopuso took much of the carries and much of the attempts, as he tallied up 150 carries for over 1,000 yards and 11 total touchdowns. But it's been Dylan Staley with just over 100 carries, 509 yards, and 5 touchdowns, who's carried much of the workload tonight, especially with those short pickup conversions.
Yeah, and it's not just about one player. And there's a fumble on the field, but it looks like John Bakey was able to recover it, and it wasn't turned over.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the 3rd time Bakey's had to do that tonight, where he has to jump on top of a ball, falling on the turf. It was the missed snap very early on in the game. I believe the 2nd play for the Ridley offense. The fumble, he had to get an attempt to recover, which he proved successful. And then right there, it looked to be the snap was a little to the left, almost getting right to the running back, who was going to get given the handoff. But Bakey was right there, able to pick things up and keep this drive alive for Ridley. So at 5:39 left here in our 3rd quarter play, the Raiders down by 6. He'll step back, wide receivers to both sides of the screen. He'll then punt fake, and then taking himself up the middle. He continues to run. Bakey will then lunge across the 30-yard line for a 1st down and tack on about 15 more, as John Bakey picks up what could be about a 23-yard run for the Ridley offense. John Bakey doing his job on the run and getting a little bit of Sullivan Robinson, a case of Robinson, as Robinson understands when he's under pressure, he takes the ball, tucks it, and runs. Bakey took a page out of his book right there.
Yeah, and it's important for a quarterback to know what his options are, and you can see them scanning the field, and it's those split-second decisions that can be a gain of 23 yards or a loss of a certain amount of yards.
Number 25 will take the carry. Hassan Chandler, the senior running back for Ridley, and he'll be stopped at the line of scrimmage, picking up maybe about a yard. but he'll be wrapped up.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
And with
And we
another
see-
flag on the field.
Another penalty yet today. That is a lot of penalties, and you got to wonder, is it the slippery turf? Is it just a poor discipline? We just don't know, but it is not helping either of the teams tonight, as they have both taken quite a lot of penalties.
Especially with the score being so close and momentum shifts happening very quick throughout the ball game, and the student sections bringing their aspect of the game on both sides of the field to a poor conditioned field. It's going to be important to see what teams come out as more disciplined. That's going to be what happens to win the game, as right here it's the man Elijah Jacopuso picking up 9 yards on the carry, possibly moving the chains. It looks like they'll mark him just short. Jacopuso doing his job on the move, and as we mentioned, he's total 11 total touchdowns in the regular season, and he's looking to add on to that and pick up his first for Ridley in this postseason, but he'll need to pick up plenty more yards and try and get down to the end zone, as they are still working from their own 40-yard line. As with 2nd and short, they'll hand off once again to Jacopuso. He'll make his charge up the middle, but he'll be met a lot sooner here, as he'll pick up about 4, reaching about the 45-yard line. It's Jacopuso on the carry again for the Raiders.
And we're starting to see some frustration along the North Penn defense and the North Penn bench, as these players on the Raiders side just keep slipping through the cracks and slipping through the defense. And you got to wonder, will Coach Dick Beck call a timeout and see if he can pull his defense together a little bit?
That's a very good point to have, especially with this game being so close. Both teams still with 3 timeouts. However, getting ready to wrap up our third quarter, and with time continuing to tick, as Bakey will take it for a run for about 2. With the score so close, and with time running out, it'll be important to see what teams call their timeouts first and try and work their way downfield, stopping the clock and doing what they can, and just trying to put up points on the board and take the lead, as Ridley is trailing still by 6. But we've seen plenty throughout the season, especially from I remember perfectly from the CBS game North Penn hosted in the regular season, which North Penn won, obviously, with their undefeated season. They held on to the ball in the last about 9 minutes of the game for a total of like 8 minutes. And that just shows you not only are they disciplined where they avoid the penalties in the game, but their ball possession just eats up the clock. So once they get that lead, they just continue to hold on to it, pick up the first downs, and work their way to the big conversions, which is what they've been proving successful throughout the season and have brought into this matchup tonight. So that's what they're looking to do. Try to get the ball back, use up the clock as we reach our 2-minute and 20-second mark here in our third quarter. But for right now, it's the Ridley offense on the field, and quarterback John Bakey set here for 3rd down and 7. Two wide receivers close side, and ball's loose, and North Penn is on the ground, but North Penn recovers as the Knights eat it up. It's R.J. McNamara applying the pressure on Bakey, and the Knights will recover as number 3, Corey Kime, in addition to number 32, Eric Laughlin, met the ball on the one hop and scooped it up.
And you're seeing that again on your screen, and you can see the pressure applied, and R.J. McNamara just applies that pressure, and the ball slips loose of John Bakey's
And
hands.
it was the junior R.J. McNamara applying the pressure, forcing the ball loose, and then picking it up off the ground as he bodied out Bakey on the turf trying to pick up that ball. And as we mentioned at the very beginning of the broadcast, this defense is led by, a lot of the core seniors. But for the underclassmen, the juniors like Nate Brown and R.J. McNamara, they've had put up phenomenal numbers with a ton of tackles, and in addition to forcing the turnovers, such as right there, R.J. McNamara forcing the fumble and getting the fumble recovery, putting the Knights at the 44-yard line and looking to push farther into Ridley territory as they called a timeout, slowing things down.
In your mind, Eric, what do you think David Wood is saying to his team right now as another fumble, second fumble of the night.
Well, for Wood's second season coaching this team and for his first playoff appearance here in the postseason, he's just looking to try and keep his team hungry as much as he is. Obviously, as a coach, you know, it's a great experience to be in the postseason for a high school football coach, but he's just looking to continue to drive his team and have them cool and calm, as this game is still well within reach. And however, as for the other side of the field they'll be facing, it's not only the North Penn bench and North Penn passing, such as Robinson. He'll connect here to Eric Laughlin, but it's this student section bringing the energy. And as you see, once again, they are supporting this Knights squad as Robinson connects to Laughlin. The seniors connecting and putting the Knights at the 15-yard line. It's Eric Laughlin on the reception for North Penn.
And it looked like someone is down right now.
And unfortunately, a Ridley player is injured as he is set at the 10-yard line. And we'll have a stoppage of play as the officials will call a timeout. But looking back at that phenomenal pass by Robinson, he'll connect once again in the air. And it was on a slant by Laughlin, which gave him plenty of space up the middle.
And you're seeing it again on your screen, that long pass, and he was wide open.
And also important to note as well, the pass coverage for Robinson. He had plenty of time. He could have sat back there, put up a chair, and read a newspaper, and then got that pass off, because he had so much time with the blocks applied from his backfield as well as his offensive line. He did his job, stepping up, as well as his teammates around him do their job. And that's, as we mentioned, the coaches have focused on not only is the defense, understanding that their jobs are, very evident throughout the game, and they apply huge impacts, but it's also this offense and this offensive line helping out the backfield and quarterback.
And there is another timeout called.
Second timeout called by North Penn, and with a minute 39 still left in a third quarter.
You gotta wonder,
Very
is that
interesting.
the right choice? Like a lot of coaches you see in the NFL like to save their timeouts for the end of the game where it's coming down to those critical moments. And right now, Coach Dick Beck is choosing to use his timeout because he feels that his team needs to be pulled together.
He definitely must have saw something wrong, in the huddle. And the last thing they want to do is give the ball right back to Ridley.
Yeah.
And give them an opportunity to get back up in this game and get the lead if they are able to work back downfield. But also, as for Coach Beck, it's his 17th season coaching. He's had plenty of experience throughout the postseason as well as in the regular season. And he understands this squad as he puts in a tremendous amount of time and effort into this team. And he's been teaching what was the rookie quarterback at the beginning of the season, Solomon Robinson, the playbook, the plays they like to run, and the opposition they'll be facing throughout the week, as he has done all week leading up to this Ridley matchup. But as for the quarterback, he's got to produce things, and here's Robinson on the tuck and run, and he'll reach out. Ball comes loose as his knee was on the ground initially, but it was Eric Laughlin right there to scoop things up just in case, applying the support for his quarterback, as Robinson will pick up about 2 yards on the carry, setting up at the 9, at the 13-yard line. The Knights offense will get set here in the huddle. It's Robinson looking to lead his team into the end zone as a minute and time continues to run left here in this third quarter. Robinson in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers here far side of the screen. He'll tuck it and run it again, pushing through the line of scrimmage. He'll be wrapped up immediately as he crossed that line of scrimmage by number 50, Michael McDonald, the junior for Ridley.
And we were talking about calling that timeout and how Coach Beck has so much experience with this team, being here for 17 seasons now. Even if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong, they won a state championship back in, I think, 2004.
Correct.
And although it was a long time ago, he has so much experience, and something must have definitely been wrong that he saw that needed to be fixed in order.
So with 3rd and 4, back to the action. It's R.J. McNamara taking a carry, and he'll work his way into the end zone. R.J. McNamara bursts through the line of scrimmage and trots into the end zone for his first end zone visit of the postseason, his 3rd total on the season for the Knights. and he'll give North Penn a 19-7 lead, as now the senior, Ayub Charati, will head onto the field looking to put up the extra point, or perhaps Coach Beck will call another 2-point conversion opportunity. We'll see what Coach Beck has in store for us.
That would be really interesting if he called another 2-point conversion. It could really work. If it works, it would really
They will do so.
mess up the Ridley defense.
Looking to redeem themselves and put them back up 21-7. Robinson will fake the handoff to Haynes, and he'll get it but Shamar Edwards, it will be off his hands and fall onto the ground incomplete, as with a second left in a third quarter. Robinson faked the handoff, got my neck up here in the booth on the handoff to Haynes, as well as he beat the defense of Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley was pushing hard just as he was throwing that ball. You saw a player just charging at him, and he had to get it out of his hands. We didn't see if Shamar, here comes up on your screen if you watch.
Here's the touchdown of RJ McNamara, putting them up 19-7. However, that 2-point conversion proved unsuccessful, as Robinson looked for Shamar Edwards on the close side of your screen. But as for the Knights, they're doing their job. They're now up 19-7, forcing Ridley to now have to put up 2 scores here as we get closer to our fourth quarter of action and the rest of our game, and our 6A round 1 playoff matchup between the visiting Ridley Green Raiders and home North Penn Knights. Once again, I'm Eric Jesberger alongside Brandy Marlin up in the booth, and we are here at Wissahickon High School's turf stadium due to Crawford Stadium getting hit hard with the rain. And it might be a swamp over there at the field, but as for the North Penn student section, which goes by the swamp, they're bringing the energy here tonight and showing their support for this undefeated Knights football squad. And it'll be Ayub Charati after putting up the extra point. Actually, correction. It was that 2-point conversion on that last attempt. He'll kick things away, and it'll be muffed immediately by Chandler for Ridley, but he'll take things and push towards the sidelines. He'll see an opening, but then be met hard along the sidelines and his own bench by a North Penn blockade, making sure to avoid another kick return touchdown for Ridley, which they put up earlier in this game, which was their first score and only score in the second quarter.
Yeah, and we were talking right after that about the ping pong action of going back and forth, and we're starting to see a little bit of it right now, but North Penn is starting to take dominance of the field with that last touchdown. And although the 2-point conversion didn't work out quite as planned, when Shamar dropped the ball, that's all right because they're still up 12 points, although could be a little better. But it's fine, as North Penn still needs to push hard now as Ridley is going on offense.
So as we conclude our third quarter of action, we'd like to once again say thanks for joining us here on Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, or YouTube. As if you're watching the game live, you're watching a phenomenal game at hand. It is 6A round 1 playoff action between the Knights and Ridley Raiders. The Knights lead this game 19-7 as we get ready to begin our fourth quarter of action. It's the Raiders beginning this drive here for the fourth quarter, trying to put some points up on the board, needing a touchdown here. And they'll be led by quarterback John Bakey as he'll hand off to Dylan Staley, who will be hit at the line and sent farther back by North Penn's Nate Brown and Eric Laughlin, bursting through the center and applying the hit to Staley.
Yeah, and this is exactly what North Penn needs. They need their defense to stay super strong. And both defenses have been absolutely phenomenal tonight. But in this fourth quarter, it's going to be super critical now that North Penn is up by 12 points.
North Penn will rely on their defense to close out this game here in the fourth quarter. And as for Ridley, their offense needs to step up and step up big. Bakey will fake the handoff to Staley, and he'll get a throw. However, number 34 on the attempt, Lamont Sudler, the tight end, broke free and had a little bit of daylight. But when that ball was thrown, he wasn't even turned around. And that's unfortunate. Bit of miscue. And, a quick hesitation for the tight end on the move prevented that opportunity for John Bakey to connect with him on that pass opportunity.
And it's also important to notice right now that the rain has actually stopped.
My goodness, that's new.
So, although the field is super slippery, we see the ball maybe staying a little bit more dry if it stays in the hands of the players, which could maybe help the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's been raining since warm-ups, but with it stopping now, it will be Jacopuso bursting off far side of the screen. He'll pick up a first down, and he'll find a little bit of daylight before getting knocked out of bounds by John Haynes at the 45-yard line. The Ridley offense crosses midfield, and with Jacopuso, the main enforcer we mentioned early on in the broadcast for Ridley, who we predicted to play an impact in tonight's ball game, proves evident right there why he is the main rusher for this Ridley offense.
And it looked like there was a penalty of some sort, and it pushed the Ridley defense back.
Looked like perhaps the flag was picked up by the official. Letting the kids play, not stopping this drive here for Ridley. However, this attempt up the middle for Dylan Staley will be met with a blockade once again by number 17 and junior at North Penn, Nate Brown, who continues to lock down this running game for the Raiders. So, Brandy, what can you say about the coverage North Penn has had so far, except for that one rush by Jacopuso? If the Knights are able to continue the same groove of rushing stops, but right here, he'll break free. Oh my goodness, and he'll be brought down hard. Staley will get sent airborne for about 5 seconds before Kaleem Corbin decides to bring him down. Number 4, the senior for North Penn, Corbin, picking him up and sending Staley hard onto the turf. However, Ridley shut me up, as it seems to be whenever I talk about something they've been having struggles with, they answer right back to me up here.
Yeah, and you were just asking me how the North Penn defense is doing right now, except for, well, no, those 2 plays. And so they're staying strong, but they cannot crack as Ridley gets closer and closer to the red zone.
As we pass our 10-minute mark, Bakey on the run. He'll step back and then launch one towards the sidelines. And reaching up on the coverage was Andy Cole. And with the pass intended for the wide receiver on the far sidelines, as it looked to be number 22, Jake Laberio. He'll just trot out of bounds as that ball was thrown well away, as Bakey was met with the pass rush by this Knights defense.
Yeah, and the Ridley is now 2nd down and 10. So will they rush or will they pass, Eric? What do you say?
Well, they're definitely having to put up a touchdown here before North Penn gets the ball back, because as we've seen throughout most of the regular season, North Penn can eat up that clock quick. So we'll have to see Ridley hopefully work their way, as they're obviously hoping to do.
Offense, 5 yards, 2nd down.
And that's another penalty on the night. So, not on the Knights, but of the night. And Ridley is sent back another 5 yards tonight. That is a lot of yards against them so far tonight, as it was delay of game. And now it looks like they are back around the 45-yard line.
Ridley's 7th penalty on the night. And that's just not how you're going to be able to win a ball game. It's just if you're giving 3 yards to the opposition and working your way farther back where you need a touchdown, Bakey will look to answer here. He'll fake the handoff to Jacopuso and tuck in and run. He'll get to the 30-yard line before being laid out along the sidelines by senior Noah Fox, the captain of this Knights defense.
Who was
as
recently
he'll lock
returned.
down Bakey there. Yeah, he's got, as you see on the screen, he's got the cast on in his jersey number 55, as he was able to come back at the game at CB South. The second to last game, the last home game for North Penn, it was the senior night, and he definitely applied his impact, which the Knights were missing when he was out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is raining again here at Wissahickon High School Turf Stadium, and it is back with the slippery ball and slippery hands, so we'll see how that impacts the offense.
Ridley looked like they got a bit of a break with that rain stopping just when they needed to get the ball into the air, but now it will come back as the Raiders set up at the 30-yard line. Bakey will step back, move out of the pocket. He'll tuck and run it again, and then be laid out hard, trying to break up the middle. Once again, Noah Fox getting off of his man, trying to cover him, and reaching the quarterback and throwing him to the turf. And it will be 4th down with a gain of 1 on that last opportunity. 4th and about 6 here. And Ridley will wisely call a timeout, making sure they have everybody on the same page, as we are perhaps seeing the biggest play of this game coming up right now.
Now, Eric, would you go for this conversion right now?
Obviously, Ridley needs to find end zone or put up what they can of points, as it's late in this game. We've mentioned plenty of times that North Penn will eat up the clock and just take away, not even give the ball back to this Ridley offense here. It might be 9:19 left in this 4th quarter, but next thing you know, it will be seconds ticking off the clock, and North Penn still with the ball and taking a knee to conclude this playoff matchup. So for Ridley, this is undoubtedly the biggest play of this game. They need a conversion, and they need to push farther into the end zone and quick to put up 7 on the board.
You have a great point there. They're down by 12 right now, so they need 2 touchdowns to take the lead. So at the moment, David Wood is currently talking to his team to try and make a play to get that 4th down conversion in place. And we see everyone begin to line back up at the line of scrimmage as we get ready for a very important play.
Both crowds on their feet, the band roaring, the cheerleaders making their noise. Bakey, the 2 wide receivers here, far side screen. He'll hand off to Jacopuso and be brought down close to the chains, but not enough. Turnover on downs. The Knights defense answers Jacopuso on the run and force the turnover, and the Knights will take over with possession at their own end of the field. They'll begin this drive from the 25-yard line. And as we take a look at the play here, Jacopuso working at the far side of the screen. In addition, on the fake handoff by Bakey, proved unsuccessful in picking up that 1st down.
And we saw that defense, it looked like they were cracking just a little bit when we saw those 2 running plays by Jacopuso, and they just shut it down really quickly. And now we see the North Penn offense back up, but there is a flag on the play.
Flag will fall onto the field, and it looked like initially North Penn, and yes, the correct call, North Penn will pick up their 5th penalty on the night after a false start before the snap.
And now we are looking at what looks to be about 12 penalties of the night. That is very, very serious impacts on the game. It can change how a whole game comes out. And right now we see North Penn on top with a lead of 12 over Ridley.
Robinson will hand off to Julian White on the carry, as North Penn will continue to work the ball on the run and eat up this clock with their strong backfield. They'll continue their load on the rushing game. It will be mainly Julian White and Shamar Edwards we'll be talking about, in addition to R.J. McNamara, who's been taking a couple carries for the Knights' rushing game.
And it's important to note about Julian White that actually 2 weeks ago he was injured, didn't play last week, and he was on crutches in school all last week due to either his right or left ankle. And we saw him sitting on the bench earlier actually pointing to his ankle.
Robinson hands off to Edwards, and he'll pick up a couple yards, wrapped up by number 22 for Ridley. It's Jack Liberio on the tackle, wrapping him up at the line of scrimmage. As it's Shamar Edwards picking up about 4 yards on the carry.
And here is 3rd down and 5, and we are looking at a conversion needed in order to continue this drive. And conversions have been so important in this this game tonight.
And what we did see on a opportunity where the rushing game gets called to for a 1st down, Amir Pickens subbed out for Evan Spann. As Amir Pickens came in, he does so once again, as they'll hand off to Shamar Edwards. And Picking tried to apply the tackles he could, but it looked like Edwards will come up about a yard short, perhaps even inches, of moving the chains forward. So for a 4th down, once again, Coach Beck will pull the back card out of his pocket and have the Knights go for it.
And he is looking for that conversion, and the crowd is roaring right now as everyone is looking for that conversion. And it looks like Coach Beck called a timeout.
A very frustrated Coach Beck will head to the huddle after having to call a timeout with 7:19 left in our ball game tonight. Once again, I'm Eric Jesberg alongside Brandy Marlin up in the booth here at Wissahickon High School's Turf Stadium. 19-7 the Knights lead here at Wissahickon. And as for the Knights, with a 4th down conversion here, they will continue their drive and continue to eat up the clock.
Now, Eric, what do you think? They have no more timeouts left for the rest of this game. What do you think that could do?
Well, as long as if they come out, we'll have to see what they do if they're able to pull through with this conversion. And as we take a look, the rain falls down hard, but our camera crew stay sturdy. Phenomenal shots have been put on throughout this game with the replays and keeping track of the ball action. And right there, they'll track a Shamar Edwards first down bursting through the line of scrimmage.
And it looks like he picked up an extra about 5 yards after getting that first down. Now, like we were saying, they have no more timeouts left, and they now are 1st and 10. And if they can finish this drive all the way down to a touchdown or a field goal, that could be detrimental to the Ridley game.
Moving the chains and getting a fresh set of downs. It will be Robinson's taking the snap and handing off to look to be junior R.J. McNamara on the carry. As he'll pick up about 3 on the rushing attempt and head back to the huddle.
And it's interesting to talk about some of the underclassmen, actually, because a lot of the people we talk about, Shamar Edwards and Solomon Robinson and John Haynes, are all seniors, so they will be graduating this year, and we're going to have to see the underclassmen, RJ McNamara and Nate Brown, kind of step up next year. So that's something to look forward to after this playoff season has ended for either one of
Nate Brown will
these
shift
teams.
over to close side screen for a block, and he'll apply so, as Shamar Edwards will take the carry and pick up about 2 or 3 yards. So for North Penn, they will continue to eat up the clock and pick up what yards they can before they will once again now be forced to get a 3rd down conversion, as it will be 3rd and 5 for the Knights offense.
And here's another conversion, and let's see if North Penn Knights offense can pull it off yet again.
And you gotta assume they're just looking for a rush to at least get them close to the first down, where then they can try and convert for another 4th down opportunity. As with the strong backfield, they've been able to convert plenty of times throughout the season, as well as tonight. Here's Robinson, he'll take it and carry himself. The quarterback will be hit hard on the back as he hit the ground.
And it looks like he's popping up.
And great to see him get up, as Amir Pickens helped him get up from the hard hit. And once again, wonderful to see him get back up.
Yeah.
If the hit was applied, he's been beat up plenty tonight, but staying cool and confident under the pressure. And with the blitz coming, he's done a phenomenal job. Outstanding passes, as well as working his way out of the pocket and on his feet for rushing gains. Once again, on 4th down, the Knights will rush and pick up forward progress, getting well past the first down, as well as about 3 on the carry. Shamar Edwards, the main rushing carrier for North Penn, picks up another first down.
And as we're inching closer and closer to the red zone, Eric, do you think Solomon Robinson is going to start looking to do those long throws?
Well, as we've seen, what was it, about 19? It was about 9 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock when we said now North Penn's getting the ball back, and they will look to eat at the clock as they have done all season. Take a look at your screen right now. We're reaching roughly about 4 minutes and still another first down opportunity, as Shamar Edwards will pick up about 6 on the carry, and the clock continuing to run. With a 19-7 lead, there's no point in risking turning this ball over or even stopping the clock on an incomplete pass.
That's a great point to make, Eric. The North Penn team is so great at eating up the clock, and we've seen it over and over again in the regular season. And now, if Ridley gets the ball back, they have less than 4 minutes to get 2 touchdowns in order to take the lead.
With the running back set up in the I formation, Robinson will hand off immediately to R.J. McNamara. He'll rush up the sidelines, and he'll find daylight at the 20, the 15, the 10, reaching for the pylon. It's R.J. McNamara, his second touchdown on the game. Number 15, the junior for North Penn, R.J. McNamara will put the Knights up with another 6 on the board. 25-7, the Knights lead as they put a dagger in Ridley's postseason hopes and closes this game out, no doubt, as the Knights now take a 25-7 lead with Ayub Charati coming out for the extra point opportunity, looking to just continuing to add salt to the wound here with 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in our ball game tonight.
And we're looking to see if the kick is good, and it is, which it will put North Penn up 26-7. North Penn has a 19-point lead with about 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in the game, and Ridley is not looking too good right now.
And you see once again Charati's extra point. He's been on point all season for this Knights offense, tacking on the extra point as well as the field goals. And as for North Penn, that whole drive took up about 5 minutes.
Which is just absolutely phenomenal, as now Ridley, here's a replay of that touchdown where R.J. McNamara just burst through the line of scrimmage with the ball and runs all the way down the field for a tremendous touchdown.
And able to outlast Elijah Jacopuso and Jack Liberio, the main defensive players, and perhaps on both sides of the ball we've seen tonight. R.J. McNamara is able to beat them out on that coverage from Ridley and find his way into the end zone. Once again, R.J. McNamara's second end zone visit on the night. And he'll continue to push the Knights up to a 26-7 lead.
Puts him up to, what, 5 touchdowns? 4 touchdowns.
4 total touchdowns for McNamara. And with the rain continuing to fall, Ridley's crowd will slowly dwindle out along with their hopes on their playoff run and their opportunity for a Cinderella story, as Ridley was the 16th seed coming into tonight, North Penn the 1 seed. And with a carry here, Ridley will be wrapped up. Number 25 on the return attempt, Hassan Chandler. As we were mentioning, Ridley's opportunity to take down the 1 seed will prove unsuccessful here in round 1 of 6A playoff action.
And we saw Chandler kind of getting up slow a little bit there. He had to be helped up as he had gotten grabbed by the ankles, and he is walking slowly back to the huddle, where now they meet up to talk about what they are going to do.
And with our student section in the crowd still hype and bursting with energy, on the other side of the field, Ridley student section is cleared out as they know this game is about wrapping up.
With about 3 minutes and 24 seconds to go, the North Penn student section is soaking wet with along of everyone else who's out on the section tonight, and creds to them for coming out and enduring the rain.
And it looks to be, even though they got drenched a little bit, they will be sent home, driving home happy after North Penn will secure this round 1 victory and push on to the second round of playoffs. So as for Ridley, they'll look to continue their drive and do what they can here. And tripping up on his feet and slipping to the ground was John Bakey after R.J. McNamara applied the pressure. And McNamara didn't have to touch him to bring down Bakey right there.
Yeah, and now that North Penn looks like they have secured the game, they will be facing either Neshaminy or Haverford next week, who are the 8th and 9th seeds. And it looks like Bakey throws the ball off to the sidelines as he was getting wrapped up in the back.
And showing it more than we have seen tonight, but something that's been the main enforcer all game and all season has been this pass rush applied by North Penn. And right when Ridley's now forced to send the ball into the air and John Bakey is forced to throw the ball deep and long, the pressure gets to him and he has to throw on the run, and he's not able to set his feet. And with this rain continuing to pour down on this slippery turf stadium, it's just unsuccessful for any of these throws.
Yeah, and they're punting it off back to North Penn.
Miles Turner will punt it away. It will take a 2-hop and falls to, oh my goodness, falls to the arm of John Haynes, but Haynes will be hit high at the head. Ball still loose, and Ridley will actually come up with it. However, there is a flag set at the 32-yard line.
And it's good to
oh
see
my goodness,
what looks like John Haynes getting right back up after that extremely hard head hit.
The officiating crew will meet up and get the call on this. We'll send it down to the field for the call from our referee tonight, Joe Letizia.
There is no flag on this, no. Your guy
and it looked to be, and he'll be talking to Coach Beck, that John Haynes touched the ball right as he got hit. And Coach Beck is livid on the sidelines as we take a look at it again. It's going to take a 2-hop. And as Haynes reached for it, my goodness, he got laid out and just unfortunate as he went for, looked like he was perhaps faking him out.
And the heat on the field is steaming.
From our view, he did not touch the ball. It was very close, but it looked to be Haynes was perhaps faking out the coverage coming to him. But anyway, it will come back onto the field. Ridley with the ball at the 10-yard line, looking to just put up a touchdown late in this game. But as for Coach Beck, he's still steaming, trying to protect his players after John Haynes got laid out there on the
that was a very dangerous
unfortunate
hit.
play. It will be laid out to hand it off to Jacopuso as he'll be brought down. And once again, Coach Beck in his 17th season, he understands the work his team puts into every offseason lifting, every practice, every game, and he protects his players through thick and thin throughout a season, as he did right there for John Haynes. And as for Ridley, it will be the quarterback John Bakey carrying himself, and he'll launch into the end zone as the Ridley offense will put up a touchdown late in this game. However, it will be too little too late as Ridley will give the ball back over to North Penn.
And as
after this extra point attempt, and I believe I'm just going to beat you to it, this rain is picking up more than it has ever tonight.
Yeah, and Coach Dick Beck is still livid on the sidelines as the extra point is good, putting Ridley at 14 points and North Penn with 26. With 1:51 left on the clock, how much can Ridley do? Well, they would need a fumble in order to get the ball back.
Nathan Warwick will put up the extra point for Ridley, but this rain continues to pour. Once again, a shout out to our camera crew tonight, doing an excellent job keeping track of replays as well as the footage being brought to your screens at home on Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, on our North Penn Television Network. As this rain continues to pour, this game will be just about wrapped up. We are at 1:59 left in our game tonight. North Penn leading 26-14. And with the ball going to be sent back over to North Penn, we'll look to see a couple rushing plays and perhaps a knee for Robinson, securing the round 1 victory for North Penn, sending them to their second round matchup, as you mentioned, where they'll meet up
with Neshaminy or Haverford.
There you go.
And
it'll be a onside kick, and this ball's actually going to come loose, and Ridley's going to pick it up along the sidelines. A bounce off the top of the hands on the initial North Penn line on the kick return crew. And Ridley is going to get
another shot.
Sunday hop over North Penn's line and lunge for the ball. So with the clock getting ready to run, Ridley will set up an excellent field position. And this game isn't done yet.
No, it's not. It's a very shocking last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. And right now, the Ridley Raiders are still down. They would need 2 touchdowns in order to take the lead. And a second down conversion just wouldn't be enough either.
Ridley still with 2 timeouts. North Penn has used them all. John Bakey with 2 rushers behind him. He'll take the snap and step back, running into Jacopuso. Then he'll get free. He'll slip up and hit the ground.
And
as
that's
Bakey
wet turf field
will
coming back.
He'll be beat by Mother Nature and the rain applied on the turf stadium as he'll slip up and be brought down for about a 5-yard loss as North Penn taking them down.
And it's just continuing to rain here at Wissahickon High School Stadium. And the wet turf field, I'm sure, is just so hard that if you take even the slightest misstep, you will slip,
And
just
yeah,
as John
and even
Dinkey
with
has.
2 timeouts left, they'll let the clock run as we reach a minute 18. Staley Bakey will step back and right through the hands of it looked to be Evan Span on the coverage.
And this makes it 3rd and 16, it looks like. So Ridley has a lot of ground to make up if they want to continue.
3rd
this.
and long. They'll need 16 for the first down as they are set up at the 43-yard line. As Ridley's looking to make a quick end zone visit if they have any opportunity of coming back in this playoff matchup tonight. As for North Penn, they'll have zone coverage with men in the back, avoiding any deep throws. And John Bakey will step back. He'll fake the handoff to Yakupuso. He'll look long. A slow spiral will land in the hands of, it looks to be, yes, Shamar Edwards, the senior for North Penn. And that will just about do it, as with 56 seconds on the clock. And it will continue to run. Edwards will cap off the game with the interception and justification for the senior, bringing in this round 1 victory.
Yeah, and you're looking at it again on your screen. It's a lot of players in a little area, but Shamar Edwards comes through. A key player we've been talking about throughout this whole game who, like we said, would have a battle of the backfield tonight, and we have most certainly seen it, but Shamar Edwards and all the other players from North Penn have been able to pull through and get a victory
And
tonight.
not only on one side of the ball, offense and defense, players like Shamar Edwards, Julian White, RJ McNamara, Nate Brown, they've been doing key aspects and impacts on this game on both sides of the ball for the offense and defense of North Penn, which is why they were not only undefeated throughout the regular season, but they're going to secure a round 1 playoff victory here over the Ridley Green Raiders here at the Wissahickon High School's Turf Stadium.
And with a little less than 1 minute left, North Penn, honestly, I think they're probably just going to keep rushing it to try and run out the clock, get a first down, and take a knee eventually to end the game.
Ridley calling a timeout and stopping the clock at 56 seconds. As we hope the rain will slow up a little bit.
Which it
wrapping
most
up this
likely
game.
won't.
But once again, as this rain sets down and the clock dwindles away on this round 1 playoff matchup, so does the Ridley Raiders season and playoffs hopes, as the second-year coach David Wood, in his first playoff appearance as head coach for this Ridley Raiders team, will be eliminated by the 17th-year veteran coach Dick Beck and his North Penn Knights.
And ultimately, looking back on that, those 2 last timeout calls that I was questioning, those were such great choices. Dick Beck has 17 seasons under his belt, and he really knows football inside and out. He knows the North Penn team inside out, and it is leading his team to a victory in this game to advance them to the 2nd round of playoffs.
Ridley will call their last and final timeout on the game tonight. North Penn leading 26-14 with 50 seconds left in our ball game tonight. And for the rain slowing up for, I'll say, about a minute before that started to come down and get even heavier. It definitely played an impact tonight. And Brandon, what can you say about the overall field conditions and how it played impact to both teams on both sides of the ball?
Well, it was definitely a right call to not play at Crawford Stadium tonight, because I'm sure it's extremely swampy, but here the turf is soaking wet, and we have seen many players fall, especially John Bakey, and it has lost them many yards.
Robinson will head to your close side screen as he tucks the ball on the snap, and he'll be wrapped up at about the 14-yard line. And you see the coverage continue to be applied. And Robinson just tucking the ball and holding on to it before hitting that turf, as a sea of white jerseys will swarm him up. But with 24 seconds and ticking, Robinson will look to take a knee, and the Knights will look to move on to the second round of playoffs here in our 6A class postseason matchups.
And as the clock is ticking down, 5 seconds left, the game will come to an end.
And you see the two main men, Robinson and Dick Beck, leading this Knights team. The offense and defense, however, a stoppage of play as a flag came on the field late.
And although there was a flag, the North Penn and Ridley players are giving each other lots of sportsmanlike conduct of fist bumps and hugs, as it has been an extremely tough game.
So they'll give him a 5-yard delay of game penalty. And with 4 seconds total on the rest of this game, they'll take one more snap and one more knee for the senior Solomon Robinson, who has put up phenomenal numbers in tonight's game and has led his offense along with 2 rushing touchdowns by R.J. McNamara. Robinson connecting earlier with Shamar Edwards for a touchdown. That is what led this Knights offense and put them up 26-14 and will lead them out of their first round playoff win into the second round.
And we are waiting for the last snap with 4 seconds left of the game. The fans are trickling out of the stands as this will be the last play.
And they'll push them back an extra 5 yards. Well, the 5 yards, excuse me. And with the delay of game, it will be 4th and 5. With 4 seconds on the clock, we'll see Robinson take the knee and close things out. And he'll step back and jog around the sidelines, making sure the clock is used up. And give a safety over for Ridley, showing a bit of respect, something I haven't seen before. However, showing the sportsmanlike conduct, as you mentioned. Both teams, they may have been opponents throughout tonight's game, but they know when it's done. Both teams put up a phenomenal effort. And wrapping up this thing here at Wissahickons High School Turf Stadium, it's North Penn defeating the Ridley Green Raiders in dominating fashion. The final score, 26-16. The Knights win our 6A Round 1 playoff matchup over the Raiders, and they will look to push on to the second round. And taking a look at the scoring for the Knights, they kicked off with a connection with Robinson to Shamar Edwards, as Edwards will trot to the end zone across the goal line, putting the Knights up 7-0. However, it was followed up by Ridley tacking onto the scoreboard and responding to that touchdown with a kick return end zone visit, as Kaleem Corbin was unable to catch up with him. And taking this down the sidelines was the main enforcer for Ridley, Elijah Yacapuso, as he beat Corbin to the pylon and tied things up at 7 in the second quarter. And then following up with that was a upright kick and a PAT. However, North Penn got back on top as Robinson connected for Evan Spann, a reception by Spann in the back right corner of the end zone, putting the Knights up with a 13-7 lead. The 2-point conversion was unsuccessful, but then R.J. McNamara answered back with a run of his own up the middle for his 1 of 2 end zone visits. Here's his second end zone visit here, as R.J. McNamara, that touchdown about capped things off, giving the Knights the lead. Finished off by Ayub Chirai's extra point, another one on tonight. And in addition, we're going to look at this big hit applied. One of the highlights and unfortunate hits, but how North Penn was able to hold Ridley's offense down. But unfortunately, Ridley was able to break through here, and it was the quarterback, John Bakey, for the Raiders, tucking it and getting across the goal line for an end zone visit and the touchdown for the Raiders. And then right here, the Raiders weren't done yet, as a chopper beat North Penn's initial kick return line, and the Raiders were able to pick up the ball. And then following up with a pass intercepted by Shamar Edwards and taken away for the Knights, as that concluded our scoring recap of tonight's 6A playoff round 1 action here at Wissahickons Turf Stadium. Thanks for watching, and for our phenomenal crew on tonight, facing the tough weather here at Wissahickons High School Stadium. Thanks for tuning in as the Knights finish this game off, defeating the Raiders 26-16 For Brandy Marlin, I'm Eric Jesperger up in the booth. Have a great night, everybody.